Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody like started going to jail, started hanging out.
I met Turk. Shout out to Turk. You little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you and we won't you. You heard me?
Damn.
Hey, we gon' with that bitch when we want.
Y'all see this shit, man. Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. You know, that's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about the situation.
It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne. And it's important to me that I fix that.
Lil Wayne just hit his breaking point, and this time, he's not even trying to hide it. After Birdman went off on Turk during the Cash Money versus No Limit versus at ComplexCon, fans started paying real close attention to Wayne's body language. And let's just say, silence speaks louder than words. Wayne's reaction wasn't just chill, it was cold. You could tell this one cut deep because these weren't just label mates. These were family. Back in the day, the Hot Boys weren't just a group, they were a movement. They turned nothing into an empire brick by brick. Lil Wayne used to ride for Birdman like he was his own dad, defending him through lawsuits, rumors, and money drama. But now, that loyalty's looking shaky. And honestly, who can blame him? After everything that's gone down, the unpaid royalties, the shady deals, the betrayal, fans are starting to wonder if Birdman didn't just mess up friendships, but destroyed the whole legacy that made Cash Money untouchable. The breaking point came during ComplexCon on October 25th, 2025. Fans showed up expecting a fun, nostalgic celebration, a reunion of legends, but instead, Birdman turned the night into pure chaos. He grabbed the mic and without warning shouted, "Shout out to Turk, you a little B. You ain't here. We gon' mess with you when we wanna mess with you." The entire crowd froze. You could hear a pin drop before the internet went wild. Social media lit up instantly. People were tagging Turk, reposting old clips, and asking what in the world went wrong this time. A few hours later, Turk went live looking calm but clearly fed up. He dropped one line that had everyone's jaw on the floor. "Birdman, give me my percentage." That hit like a bomb. This wasn't just about shade. This was about money and respect.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't with me when y'all wanna with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people because y'all, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Respectfully.
And that's when fans started piecing it all together. If Turk's still fighting for his share, maybe Birdman's been running the same hustle from the start. Suddenly, all those old stories about missing checks and shady contracts started making sense. Meanwhile, Wayne's silence spoke volumes. He didn't say a word, no post, no response, no defense, and that quiet reaction, that's when people realize something's really broken here.
But it's all love, though. We ain't doing no tripping over here. It's big YNT, man. YNT. That's what's going on over here.
Because to understand what's happening now, you gotta rewind. Way back before Cash Money became the empire it was. Back to the roots when it was all loyalty, brotherhood, and a dream that was supposed to change their lives forever. The name Hot Boys wasn't born in some record label boardroom. It came straight from the streets of New Orleans. Back in the late 80s, deep in the Magnolia Projects, that name carried real weight. The original Hot Boys weren't rappers, all right? They were feared street legends. Sterling, Donnie, Mosquito, and Terrence Gangsta Williams, Birdman's own older brother, ruled those blocks like kings. People respected them, but they also knew better than to cross them because these men were about that life. But that world turned dark quick. One by one, the original Hot Boys either got killed or ended up behind bars. The only one who lived long enough to see it all evolve was Gangsta Williams himself, and he watched his brother Birdman take that same name and flip it into a whole empire. When Birdman reused the name Hot Boys for his rap group years later, it wasn't a coincidence, it was strategy. He took something born from the streets and turned it into a money-making machine. That move came with power and pain. By the mid-1990s, Birdman and his brother Slim had officially built Cash Money Records, and they were ready to put New Orleans on the map like never before. But to make it work, they needed a crew that could really represent the city, raw, gritty, and authentic, just like the original street Hot Boys. That's when Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG stepped into the picture. The new age hot boys were born. They had it all. The attitude, the look, the ambition. Birdman saw gold and went all in. He hyped them up like they were legends before they'd even dropped a chart hit. Soon the new hot boys were everywhere.
Besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the hot boys. Before that, the Ross and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them niggas. Ain't too many niggas ain't been up under my umbrella. If they say it or don't say it, all them niggas come from.
On mixtapes, music videos, and stages across the South, rocking heavy chains, pulling up in luxury whips, and shouting out their loyalty to Baby, the energy was contagious and the streets ate it up. Albums like Get It How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare took over the game, turning these young men into superstars overnight. But behind all that shine, there was a price, a big one. Birdman wasn't just the boss. He controlled everything. Every contract, every royalty check, every piece of publishing went through him. He owned the dream while the others were just living inside it. At first, nobody dared to question him. Birdman was like a father figure, the one who made sure everyone ate. But once the money started stacking and the math stopped making sense, cracks started showing. The first to walk away was Juvenile, and he didn't hold back. He said straight up that the payments weren't adding up. That's when everyone started realizing that maybe loyalty and cash money came with a hidden cost, one that could break even the tightest brotherhood. After Juvenile's exit, things spiraled fast. BG came next, and he didn't bite his tongue. He straight up called Birdman a crook. Then Turk ended up behind bars, and when he finally got out, reality hit him hard. The money he thought was waiting for him, gone, vanished into thin air. He realized that all those promises, all those "we got you when you're home" talks were just empty words. Through all this chaos, Lil Wayne stayed loyal, or at least tried to. He kept defending Birdman in interviews, calling him Pops and claiming everything was fine. But behind that cool demeanor, Wayne was starting to see the cracks. He wasn't blind, the numbers weren't matching up, and the love that once felt real now seemed more like control. Birdman wasn't just the CEO, he was the gatekeeper. If you dared to question him, your career got frozen on the spot. Wayne might have been the youngest of the hot boys, but he was sharp. He watched how Juvenile, BG, and Turk got sidelined, and he started moving quietly, setting up his own lane, his own plan, his own escape route. And that move? It would shake the entire hip-hop world. By 2015, Wayne had finally had enough.
At the time, it was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up a line or something.
He pulled the ultimate power move and filed a $51 million lawsuit against Birdman and Cash Money Records. He claimed he was owed an $8 million advance and another $2 million once Thaw Carter 5 was complete. But that wasn't even the worst part. Wayne also revealed that Birdman allegedly wasn't paying him his share from Young Money Entertainment, the label Wayne himself built. Basically, Birdman was pocketing the profits while Wayne carried the brand on his back. Birdman denied everything, of course. He swore he never held Wayne's music hostage, but fans weren't buying it. Behind closed doors, Wayne was furious. His long-awaited album, Thaw Carter 5, was stuck in limbo for years because of those same shady money issues. The frustration was so bad that at one point, Wayne even went public, saying he felt like a prisoner on his own label. In 2018, after years of tension, they finally reached a settlement rumored to be worth over $10 million. But then Birdman tried to rewrite the story, bragging in interviews that he gave Wayne $400 to $500 million. No one, and I mean no one, believed that. It sounded like Birdman was trying to flex instead of fix things. And even though the two hugged it out for the cameras, fans could tell that peace was just for show. The smiles were fake and the wounds were still fresh. Birdman kept defending himself, claiming everyone got paid and that folks just don't understand the business. He even said he gave Wayne hundreds of millions from Universal's distribution deals.
How you, man?
What's up, Moolah?
I'm bullying. How you, good?
You already know, bro.
Yeah, man. How Lil B? How Priya?
Man, Brian good, man. He graduated from college, man.
I know, man.
Got his own little spot, you heard me?
Man, what, man?
Real graduate next year, bro. You hear me? You know.
But every time he opened his mouth about money, the numbers never matched the receipts, not once. That's when everyone realized loyalty in the Cash Money family always came with a price tag.
I honestly say, I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No cap.
The wildest part? Birdman never stopped flexing. While his old crew is out here trying to rebuild their lives or still chasing down unpaid royalties, he's out flashing diamond watches, hopping off private jets, and giving out expensive gifts like he's untouchable. It's the ultimate slap in the face. The man who preached loyalty is living like a king while the very artists who built his empire are still struggling to collect their dues. Birdman always bragged about family and loyalty, but the truth hits different when you realize that once the money started talking, that so-called family vanished. The loyalty he talked about, it was one-sided and his side only. And just when fans thought things had calmed down, 2022 came with a twist nobody saw coming. Birdman's older brother, Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, one of the original Hot Boys, got released from prison after serving more than 23 years behind bars. That release shook the entire city of New Orleans, and even Birdman himself looked caught off guard. Suddenly, Gangsta Williams started popping up in interviews, setting the record straight about the real Hot Boys, the ones who weren't rappers but street legends, and the things he said, they confirmed what fans had been whispering for years. He explained how Birdman took the name Hot Boys, their street reputation, and even parts of their personal story, and flipped it into a business empire without ever giving proper credit.
Well, the Hot Boys, the actual street crew.
Okay.
What year did that come together?
1994, we all started hanging together, but we knew each other from, like, me and Mosquito. We kind of grew up together.
And the Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody started going to jail, started hanging out.
When reporters asked Birdman how he felt about his brother's return, he brushed it off completely, acted like Gangsta Williams didn't even exist. No acknowledgement, no shout out, nothing. And that silence, it spoke louder than any diss track ever could. It showed everyone that in Birdman's world, loyalty only works one way. You stay loyal to him, but don't expect that energy back. Now here we are, almost 30 years later, and the legacy of the Hot Boys is still in limbo. BG is finally free and rebuilding his life. Juvenile's still out performing solo. Turk's doing interviews and calling out Birdman every chance he gets. And Wayne, he's too rich and too scarred to ever look back. Fans keep begging for a reunion, hoping for that one last moment of unity. But deep down, everyone knows the truth. Those wounds run too deep. Birdman may have built the Cash Money brand, but he also broke the brotherhood that made it special. The Hot Boys weren't just rappers. They were a symbol of loyalty, struggle, and survival. But once pride and greed entered the mix, everything fell apart. And now that Birdman's back out here throwing shots again, it feels like he's reopening old scars that never healed. What makes this whole story even messier is that Birdman still moves like he's the victim. In interviews, he talks about how people turned on him, how everyone forgot what he did for them. But the truth? The streets remember everything. Folks in New Orleans still whisper about how Birdman used loyalty like a contract, not an emotion. If you didn't fall in line, you got left behind. That's the pattern everyone's seeing now. Power, control, and silence. And lately, new voices from inside the old Cash Money circle have started speaking up too. Producers, engineers, and old associates have been hinting that Birdman didn't just shortchange the artists, he cut corners everywhere. They're saying that deals were made under the table, credits got swapped, and a lot of people never saw the money they earned. One producer even claimed that some of their early tracks were sold to other labels without anyone's permission. That's wild. Meanwhile, Gangsta Williams keeps dropping bombshells online. He's been pulling receipts, naming names, and confirming that the stories fans heard over the years weren't rumors. They were facts. And every time he talks, the cracks in Birdman's legacy get deeper. Fans have even started questioning whether Cash Money's success was built more on manipulation than on music. Because if everyone around you ends up broke, bitter, or blacklisted, how successful were you really? Even the newer generation of rappers from Louisiana has started speaking out, saying that Birdman's shadow still looms over the industry. Some artists claim that once you sign with him, you're trapped, your masters, your royalties, your freedom, all tied up under his name. And when you look at how Wayne fought for years just to own his own music, it's hard not to believe them. At this point, Birdman's empire looks shiny on the outside but hollow underneath. The jets, the jewelry, the fame, they're all symbols of something that might have been built on broken trust. And the people who helped build it, they're still picking up the pieces, one truth at a time. It's clear this saga is far from over. Every time Lil Wayne stays quiet, it feels heavier, like he's holding on to stories that could shake the industry if he ever decided to speak. Then Turk hops online, dropping another piece of truth, and Birdman jumps in, flashing watches, cars, and stacks like that can cover the scars. Each move just reminds everyone that behind all the fame and fortune was a family that broke apart and never healed. At this point, the question isn't just about who got paid or who didn't. It's about trust, what it cost, and who lost the most. Because when you look at how deep this all runs, you start to wonder if Birdman's empire was ever about music or if it was all about control. Did he build a dynasty or just a cage dressed up in gold chains and luxury cars? Even now, fans still debate whether there's any chance for a real Hot Boys reunion. But how